Fortnite is a game of big moments that you'll probably never see again. Today we're going to be checking out 20 of the biggest moments in Fortnite history that will never be replicated, starting off with the unvaulting. It was one of the craziest events I ever played. I mean, it was in Season 8 a long time ago. Fans were speculating which weapon would come out of the vault, but instead of making the choice for us, Epic was brilliant. They let the players vote in this giant event that ended up with the OG drum gun coming back and ruining the game once again. Now, the unvaulting was insane, but I seriously doubt it will ever happen again. The next one is the Rise of Skywalker event. It was pretty awesome, even if it gets memed quite a bit, which I understand. As a way to promote the release of Rise of Skywalker, there was this giant in-game event filled with Star Wars music, weapons, outfits, and even the Millennium Falcon flying around. So why did it get memed so hard? Well, because there is a voiceover from Emperor Palpatine that actually explains part of the Rise of Skywalker plot. Meaning, if you wanted to fully understand why the Emperor returned to life in the movie, you had to play Fortnite, which was kind of backwards. Still, the event was awesome and there hasn't really been anything like it since. Who was a fan of the Fortnite World Cup? It was one of the biggest esports events in the entire world, but it hasn't come back. After it was viewed by millions of people and there was a prize pool of hundreds of thousands of dollars, Fortnite kind of faded away from the competitive scene. Everyone has their own theories as to why the Fortnite World Cup was canceled afterwards, but it was truly an amazing event. It really was. Speaking of events, the Rocket event, also known as the Blast Off event. This was the first in-game event in Fortnite history, and it took place all the way back in Chapter 1, Season 4. A giant rocket took off out of the villain's lair and flew around the map in real time before smashing down and altering the entire map. Plus, this is when rifts were first introduced to the game. The rocket, it changed everything, because not only did it introduce new elements to the game, but it also established in-game events as a major part of the Fortnite formula. The Rocket event will never be replicated. Next up, the Infinity Gauntlet LTM. Raise your hand if you remember this. Back when Avengers Infinity War was about to come out, Epic added an LTM called the Infinity Gauntlet. It was one of the most unique experiences ever. Early on the Battle Royale match, the Infinity Gauntlet would land somewhere on the map and transform the wearer into Thanos himself, who would have this giant health boost and a ton of abilities. The loot pool was also altered to only spawn high-tier weapons to help you take down the Mad Titan, although he usually won. Now, the original Infinity Gauntlet LTM was insane, but it was only in the game from May 8th to May 15th of 2018, and then it never actually returned. But the next year, there was something else. The in-game LTM. Now, to accompany Avengers in-game in 2019, Fortnite added an LTM of the same name that was like an escalation of the Infinity Gauntlet mode. Players were divided into two teams, Avengers and Chitauri, and you had to collect the various Infinity Stones from around the map while also defeating the Chitauri and their leader Thanos. It was like this giant variant of the 50v50 mode with an awesome Avengers paint job, but much like the previous mode, it was only in the game for a brief time. It served a purpose and a moment in the MCU timeline, and then it never came back. Next up, Ninja Las Vegas. One of the first LAN events ever for Fortnite was actually hosted by none other than Ninja himself, and instead of being a traditional tournament, groups of combatants entered the match in waves, with bonus points being awarded to whoever could kill the host. Now, Ninja Las Vegas was a very first major esport event for Fortnite, and even if you didn't like Ninja as a streamer or player, you probably have to admit this event was pretty cool, and it helped boost competitive Fortnite into the spotlight during a time when people only saw it as a casual experience. How about Kevin the Cube? I remember when the Cube first appeared on the map. Nobody knew what to make of it. The community jokingly named him Kevin, but he first appeared in Chapter 1, Season 5, slowly rolled around the map, and every once in a while, you could actually see him move in real time as he smashed through a new location. Kevin briefly returned in Season 6 and 10, but his original Season 5 appearance is what most people remember him for. At number 12, the Infinity Blade. Who remembers when this got added to the mix? The Infinity Blade was a weapon that would only spawn once per match, and it was always in the same spot, but if you got your hands on it, you were OP. You had a lot of health, you had great mobility, you had insane damage output. It was completely broken. Let's all be honest with each other, and it broke the game. After just a couple weeks, Epic removed it and apologized for ruining the balance of Fortnite. People love when weapons get unvaulted, But the Infinity Blade, well, that was a moment that will never happen again. At number 11, the Butterfly event, another one of the very first major in-game events for Fortnite. It took place on November 4th of 2018. It was the culmination of Kevin the Cube's story arc. Kevin left a lot of symbols while traveling around the map and finally cracked open. He emitted a giant light and a large butterfly that flew around and completely changed the Leaky Lake region of the map. Now, the event was amazing, and it continued to solidify Epic Games' reputation for putting on an insane in-game live show. Speaking of shows, the MARSHMELLO concert. Back in 2019, Epic decided to push the boundaries of in-game events even further by recruiting MARSHMELLO, who was a popular DJ who was also a big fan of the game, and putting on this giant in-game concert. The event was attended by millions of players worldwide and probably introduced a lot of new people to his music as well. And since then, there have been a couple other in-game concerts, but I think this one's probably my favorite. It was the original, and to me it was the most mind-blowing at the time. At number 9. The Devourer of Worlds. Galactus is being teased as one of the next big villains for the MCU, but back in 2020, he was already the next big villain of Fortnite. On December 1st of 2020, Fortnite players everywhere had to team up to do battle with one of the most OP villains ever created, and thankfully, with the help of some Marvel superheroes, he was defeated. But this event was a ton of fun, and it definitely made me think about what Galactus could be like in live action. At number 8, the Ice Storm. In January of 2019, Fortnite completely changed this map in real time right before our eyes in a move that we've never seen. A few days before the event, the Ice King was just seen hanging out at Polar Peak holding fragments of Kevin the Cube. At the same time, a countdown was added to every TV on the map, implying something big was going to happen. Now when the countdown finally hit 0 on January 19th of 2019, the Ice King unleashed his power, covering the entire map in snow and introducing the very controversial Ice Fiends to the game. Now, the aftermath was heavily criticized, but the event itself, it was pretty awesome, and it was the first time we actually got to watch a new map be introduced right before our eyes. At number 7, Fortnite X Mayhem. In the summer of 2019, Fortnite and Borderlands joined forces for this event that not only introduced new skins to the game, but it also added a whole new location based on the Borderlands universe. This new area was called Pandora. It would change your visuals to look more like Borderlands when you were in it, and you even regenerated your shield just by standing around, which encouraged lots of people to visit it. And speaking of areas based on other universes, let's just segue into Hotel Continental. Yeah, added as part of the Neo Tilted in Chapter 1, Season 9. It was a building in Tilted Towers based on the John Wick film series. It was chocked full of Easter eggs, and while it wasn't there very long, it was an awesome nod to the film franchise, and players everywhere loved it, and I would love to see more stuff like this. Buildings based on popular franchises. It's a cool way to give credit to other franchises while not really impacting the gameplay too much for those that may not get the reference at all. At number 5, Tilted Town. Now, following the removal of Neo Tilted, there was a new area called Tilted Town that seriously changed how the game was played. Wild West theme this time, and the building was completely disabled here, so you had to rely on your shooting skills alone and positioning to get you out of trouble. Tilted Town was removed after that season, but those who were playing in Season X, you probably remember it. Here's one that some of you may not remember. Dusty Depot being destroyed. Who remembers the meteor? One of the first big mysteries in Fortnite history was the appearance of a giant meteor in Chapter 1, Season 3 that hovered over the map as fans speculated as to where it would land. At the beginning of Season 4, it finally touched down. It destroyed Dusty Depot and created a brand new point of interest as a research team tried to clean up the aftermath. This was the first time a major POI was completely wiped out and changed, and it made it clear to players that nowhere on the Fortnite map was safe. Speaking of not being safe, Epic deletes their own game. At the end of Chapter 1, Season 10, people were curious. I mean, what would Epic do next? Will we go to Season 11? Will we start a new chapter? Well, what actually happened ended up being the end game event. It was the end. It culminated with Fortnite being completely deleted for 2 days. The event it ended on October 13th of 2019. The game completely shut down until October 15th, which was unheard of. Fortnite was the biggest game in the world at this point, and Epic really had the stones to just shut the servers down and give you a black screen whenever you booted up. This blew everybody's mind. It was genius. I seriously doubt they're ever going to do something like that again, but it was brilliant. At number 2, Operation Skyfire. On September 12th of 2021, Operation Skyfire went down. Has to be one of the most elaborate in-game events I've ever seen. Now, I have a tremendous respect for the amount of storytelling Epic Games has been able to weave into Fortnite's gameplay, and this event took more than 4 weeks to completely set up. Now, it's still relatively recent, so I won't go into too much detail just in case you're catching up, but the event itself was insane. It had a hefty impact on the game, too. I'm still getting back into Fortnite, but one of the reasons I wanted to give it another try was insane events like this. I don't know a single other multiplayer game that is on Epic's level. And finally, the final showdown. Where were you? Team Monster or Team Mech? Let me know. The final showdown was awesome. Giant map-wide showdown between a giant monster and a giant robot, and the entire lobby got to watch and try to stay out of the way. It was like the video game version of Pacific Rim, but from the perspective of a helpless bystander. In the end, the mech prevailed, we know, and the monster skeleton became part of the map. I mean, this is still one of my favorite Fortnite events, and while it happened all the way back in 2019, I haven't seen them do anything quite like this since. And there you have it. Those are Fortnite moments you'll never see again. Let me know one that didn't make the list that was deserving, and I'll see you guys soon.